Welcome to the Coach's Corner podcast. I'm your host, Coach Tripp. Thanks for watching the show. Special guest today on this Saturday, Tiffin, great All-American kicker at Alabama. His son, Lee, which we'll talk about quite a bit during the show, is also an All-American kicker at Alabama. That's a very rare thing. Van, great to see you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Good to talk to you, Paul.
Oh, my gosh, it has been a few years. I just got off the phone with Butch Worley, a good old friend of mine at Bama, and walk-on kicker. We were walk-ons. You're a walk-on. I'm a walk-on. Let's start from the beginning. You were born in Tupelo, Mississippi, but when did your family move to Red Bay, Alabama?
Well, they always lived in Red Bay. Back in those days, Red Bay didn't have a hospital with a maternity ward.
Oh my gosh. Well, talk about growing up. I want to hear about your mom and your dad and any siblings that you had.
Well, my father, Bob, my mom, Judy. I had two brothers. My oldest brother is Tim. He's 3 years older than me. And then I had another brother that's 10 years younger. And his name is Lex. And we all went to Alabama, went to school there. They have great, just a small town. Everybody knows everybody. And just a great place to raise a family and grow up with a lot of friends. And it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah, it's always great to have mom and dads that are so involved. Talk about Did you play different sports when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, we all all the kids in the neighborhood. We all played baseball, little league baseball, and pee wee football, and just did all the sports, basketball, all the way through. It's kind of what we all did, and man, it was a lot of fun.
How did you get interested in kicking, and who was your first mentor? Who was the first one that gave you the impetus that you might be good at this?
It was really strange how I started. I always thought it was strange. I enjoyed kicking. I was always enamored by somebody that could make a football go that far through the air, up high, punting, kicking, all of it. And the reason we lived about, I don't know, a quarter mile from the high school. And I would, on weekends, just go up there and take my football and kick. And back anything about the fundamentals of kicking. Very, today there's a lot of schooling, there's a lot of, camps and things that kids can go to and learn about it. And, they get better and better. Back in, the early 80s, late 70s, none of that. And so I would go up there and kick and by myself. No one asked me to. Just something I enjoyed doing, which I know everybody thinks that would be kind of strange, but I did enjoy it. And my father picked up on the fact that I enjoyed doing that and thought, well, he may could go a little farther with it. And so an article in Sports Illustrated came out probably in 1980. And Woody Humphrey was the punter for Alabama at the time. Mm-hmm. And the guy that taught him how to kick was a guy by the name of Doc Story. And Doc Story lived in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So my dad called him and asked if he would tutor me in kicking. And he said, sure. So I think it was in the spring. Yeah, it was the spring of 1980 or 81. My father sent me down to Fort Lauderdale, and I stayed there a week. I'm talking about 6-8 hours a day. And, and so I would do that twice a year. I would go in the spring and I would go in the summer while we were off for school.
Wow.
Spend the week with this gentleman. And at the time, he was about 80 years old.
Holy cow, Van.
Very unorthodox way of learning from somebody that had to sit in a chair with a cane all day. And just
wow, that is fascinating.
Really understood how He understood the fundamentals. Very few people did back then. He
Yeah.
had, and he was a high school coach, and so he had some background in football.
Yeah, Pete Gogolak started it in 1958 in upstate New York, started the soccer style kicking. And from there it has taken off, and the straight on kickers all went by the wayside. And now kicking's in another revolution. There are the punting is in a revolution with the backspin. Also, I heard that the kickers in the NFL, some of them, Van, are working on a spin kickoff to put it in that zone. And have you heard about this tornado-like spin kickoff?
I have not, but these guys are getting so good now. I mean, it's just, I never thought I would see what I watch on TV, 67-yard field goals and all this crazy stuff. I mean, they are just refining it to the end. Amazing.
Goodness gracious. Folks, we're talking with a great Van Tiffin, great All-American kicker at Bama. He was All-American in 1986. And your son was an All-American in 2009. We're going to talk about Lee in a little while. What did you major in at school, Lee? Van, what did you major in?
I got my degree in communications.
Communications? Then you went in the family business, Tiffin Motorhomes, correct?
Yep. Been here for 38 years.
Wow.
Only job I've ever had.
Man, I see Tiffin Motorhomes going down the streets here in Pensacola.
Yep, still build them every day. That's what I've been doing all this time.
So we know where you learned your craft from O'Doc. Kicking's very much like a golf swing. There's fine motor skills, and talk about relating kicking to maybe a golf swing, because isn't it all rhythm and timing?
Yeah, it is, and there's a lot of similarities. It's easier to drive a golf ball off of a tee. So the same concept with a football, and off a tee, you can get a better. It's strange, but everybody tends to be able to hit a golf ball farther off a tee. Same thing with a football.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that takes a lot of time to learn how to do is getting the football to come off the ground, and you have to hit it very similar to a golf ball. You have to get under the ball, right? You have to hit the right part of the ball with the club head, which is your foot. It's all about the same, and mastering that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of repetition. It takes staying at it constantly, consistently over time, so you don't lose the feel for it and the accuracy. I'm sure if a golf player takes off, a professional golf player doesn't pick up a set of clubs for a few weeks or a few months, he gets rested.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with kicking. You have to stay with it.
Absolutely. Consistency with the rhythm is you can't be away from it for a long time. Wow. You made the kick. We called it the kick. First, we're going to talk about the kick. It's on my screen behind me. 1985 Iron Bowl 52-yarder as time expired. What were your thoughts before the kick and afterwards?
Well, before the kick, I really didn't think we would get in range for a kick. The chips were pretty much down. I think it was fourth down, and go, and you're sitting there thinking, well, something might happen, but then again, it may not. So on the sideline, ready to go, and it happened fast, and we were about out of time, and you're thinking, well, we don't have timeouts. What might happen, and so we're sitting on ready, wanting to get out on the field really fast. And wow, the Greg Richardson caught the pass and got out of bounds, and and it's like, oh, well, here we go. We got to rush.
Here we go right now. Yeah, no time to think, no timeouts, nothing. Just go on and kick it.
Yeah, it's the best thing that could have ever happened. I'm glad there were no timeouts, and you know.
Oh, come on. You had ice in your veins, man.
Yeah.
I was your teammate. Every time you walked on the field, I'm counting the points. You never missed an extra point, ever. 135 straight. Your son broke it, but he missed a few. But man, talk about well, let's go back. Let's rewind for a year. 84 Iron Bowl, 42-yard field goal. I think it's McGinney for Auburn lining up, and I'm arguing. Me and Freddie Robinson are going back and forth. Who's going to block the kick? And I said, I'm the senior, you're the sophomore, I'm going. And I missed it by like this much. And I'm turned. First thing I can think of is, man, Freddie's a little taller. He might have got that. And he pulls it left. And that poor kid, man, what were your thoughts for him? Because didn't they run him out of the campus? Didn't he leave school after that?
It was a tough situation there for him. And that's the part of being a kicker, you know. You're sometimes the last hope for the game, and everybody when you make it, and they're not too happy if you don't. Yeah, that was a situation.
Yeah, it was. All right, with the biggest one, the 57-yarder against Texas A&M in '85. How did you talk to Coach Perkins? Did he ask you if you could make it, or what was Coach Stokes the special teams coach back then?
Yeah, Coach Stokes was. He was a special teams coach, and no, Coach Perkins didn't ask. It was a situation. It was the last play of the first half. So, why not take a chance? You know, make some of those in practice, not all of them, but he had the distance for it. So nothing ventured, nothing gained, I think was the situation there.
What's the longest kick you ever made in practice?
Maybe a little over 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about these guys making 70-yarders now?
I just can't. And they're doing it off the ground. I mean, that is just, you lose 4 or 5 yards off the ground compared to a tee. I mean, these guys are just absolutely killing it.
Were you more nervous watching Lee kick than when you kicked?
I'm going to tell you something. I was miserable watching Lee. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was tough. It was really tough. I don't know why. I never thought about my father or my mom having to watch me play and then get nervous about it. But I was really anxious every week, every single week.
I know why.
Those field goals, and it's totally out of your control as a parent.
Yep, that's number one. It's totally out of your control. When you played, you felt like you had control. That was number one. And number two, it's your son, man. It's your boy. It's you want better for your kids than for yourself. So I can see why you're a little bit anxious. I might have taken a little sip or two, man, a little cocktail or two before those games. Holy cow!
Bit nerve-wracking.
It had to be. Nerve-wracking. Why are kickers a little strange, a little off, a little? Why is that, Ben? I played in the pros. I coached for 20 years. I played for 20 years, and I love the kickers, man. But they're just a little bit off. Is that because they have to it's more mental than anything else? That you can't have paralysis by analysis, and you don't want to choke, and you don't want to panic because they're two different things.
I think that's a lot of it. And one problem you only have one opportunity. There's no redos. There's in baseball.
Next play. Yeah, there's no next play.
Yeah, there's no next play. There's no 3 strikes. No, whatever second chance. There's somebody offsides or something like that. And so you just have opportunity, and every time you miss it, you think, "Oh, I wish I could have that one back." I just know I would make it next time.
I don't know, man. I played quite a few years with you in Tampa too. I don't remember you missing any, but I'm sure you did. Was it? I don't know. I get asked too, sometimes, how was it like playing in front of crowds? I never listened. I never heard the crowd. It was all just like gray noise. Just, I never heard the crowd. It's harder to speak in front of 200 people than it is to play in front of 2 million, right? You block it out?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just you do what you do when you're out there playing, or in your case, you get knocked around. That helps too. The only time I ever noticed the crowd is after I missed the field goal and had to go off the field. It felt like everyone was then.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy. I got to tell you a story. Good friend of mine, Butch Worley, who took care of Amanda when she was younger. Butch. He walked on. He was there when we were there, and he never got to kick in a game. And Coach Perkins was going to put him in, I think, the Memphis State game, homecoming, and he forgot before he ran out there and kicked the field goal. And I think the next week we were playing somebody, and you went and Perkins, told Butch he's sorry about he forgot to put him in, and you tapped on one of the. If this is true, you tapped on one of the special teams coach's shoulder and said, "Remember to put Butch in." Dude,
Yeah.
Do you remember doing that, Van?
Mississippi State game.
Yeah.
I believe that was my senior year. Yeah, I believe it was our senior year, 1986. Yeah. Yeah, Butch's a good guy, man. He was always a lot of fun. Just like good.
Yeah, he's
guy.
he's a beautiful guy, man. And for you to do that, it was nice.
Yeah, it worked out great, and he made the kick too, by the way.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he made the kick. Yeah, he would have never, if he got 0 for 1, I don't think he would ever hear the end of that one. At least he went 1 for 1,
That's right. He was about it, man. He was always,
Oh my God.
He would get excited about things. Yeah.
What about the current college landscape, Van? What do you think about it? I get really concerned about locker room morale and tightness and unity and everything and intangible stuff when this pay, all this, I think when money gets involved, it gets greed involved. And then I just think it's bad for locker rooms. I wish Saban would be the head of commissioner to straighten everything out. You were a walk-on. I was a walk-on. There wasn't really any animosity towards scholarship guys that were getting paid and we weren't. But when it comes into this kind of money, if somebody who's better than somebody else is making $20,000 a year and the other guy's making $2 million, I think it's a conflict in the locker room. Do you agree?
Well, I think everybody's motivation changes when it's money compared to what it was.
Right.
Today, money was not. I mean, just face it. A scholarship guy really wasn't getting any money other than the scholarship, which wasn't,
Right.
directly to them. It was just basically their
Right.
school cost and that sort of thing. But when you're paying guys that kind of money, it changes their attitude, I think, a lot toward why they're there.
Right.
They're for the love of football necessarily, and I'm sure they still enjoy it. But I think everybody back in the day enjoyed playing, enjoyed the notoriety of being able to play, and obviously money had nothing to do with it. It was all wanting to be there.
Yep, that's right. Heart. I think that has a big. I think Pat McAfee was talking about it on the show today with Coach Saban. About the difference in what do these 4 teams have that Bama and some of the other ones didn't have, and I think it's just down to mental toughness. It's the psychological effect of being on a football field and going through really hard practices. I'll never forget all the players at Bama when I played for Coach Bryant, talking about how hard the practices were. And Saban's players said the same thing when they went to the pros and they moved on to other colleges like Coker, like Jay Coker. He came from Florida State to Alabama, and he was shocked by the amount of intensity and the strain of practice, how intense it was, and how the standard was just the line of scrimmage. I noticed the line of scrimmage. That's what Saban mentioned, the toughness on the line of scrimmage. Bama was never out-toughed on the line of scrimmage, and that's what Indiana did to us, Van. I think they out-toughed us a little bit.
Yeah, it's there was definitely a lot of intensity from Indiana in the way they played the game, and I figure that a lot of that trickles down from the way from what the coaches teach them and what they expect of them.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm reading a book right now, how to build a championship football team. Coach Ryan, actually, Coach Stallings came on the show and said he wrote 90% of it. They wrote that book in 1960, Van, and they didn't even win a national championship yet. They were writing championship books in 1960 before they won their 6-8 national titles. And Saban's book, I mean, if you read 4th and Goal every day, you'll know why Saban, wins. And then at the very end of the book, the author, who is the head of the Senior Bowl there, Saban asked him a question, and he ended the book that way. Saban said, "Why isn't everybody else practicing this way?" And that's how the book ended. Yeah. And I was the same way when I coached. I only coached at a couple of high schools, but then I stopped coaching and went around all the high schools. And I was asking myself, why doesn't everybody practice the correct way? I don't understand it. There's certain protocols and there's winners that you can learn from. That I've already. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right, Van?
Sometimes just it's best to emulate what you can, and what works for somebody else is a good chance that it could work for you. In any, not just playing football.
How did football and the discipline and the commitment that you had to that? How did that help you at Tiffin Motorhomes?
I think it taught me a good work ethic, to be early, to be on time, to be prepared for what I'm going to do the day before I get there, be thinking about there. Just stick with it when things are not going so well, when the economy's down and things are not the way you would like for them to be. Just to keep digging, keep trying, and there's always a sunny day ahead.
Amen, brother. God is great. God is great. He's been good to us. That's for sure, Van.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's any advice for young kickers out there that are listening that want to be a great kicker?
Well, the advice I have is there's a lot of ways to learn about it. There's a lot of people that know a lot about it nowadays. There's a lot of information on the internet. There's a lot of teachers out there that teach it. Like I was saying earlier, nobody did that back 40, 50 years ago. You had to figure it out yourself or be real fortunate like me and find somebody. So take advantage of that, obviously. And then it's practice. It's like anything else. What, the dedication, the time you put into it, preparation, that's the difference, because most people won't do that. Most people invest in the time it takes, the repetition it takes to learn how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I remember a story reading a book on Bill Walsh, and he drove by a high school practice field after Montana and after Joe Montana and Jerry Rice had already won Super Bowls and MVPs. And he drove by this high school and he said, "Is that Jerry and Joe?" And he went over there and he just sat there and watched them, and they repeatedly do fundamentals over and over and over again. And he wrote in his book over and over again that would bore a high school kid to death.
Wow!
But that's what it took, the repetition and that practice to be a winner.
That's what it takes. There's no glory in being out there working on it when no one else is around. It's not entertaining and it's not fun, but results pay off. It makes it all come together in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. What you do in the dark when nobody's watching is what comes to light when the lights are on and everybody's there. Wow. That's awesome, buddy. What are you doing? Chasing your 5 grandkids around now, you and Michelle?
We are. We've got some small ones. We've got some that are almost grown. So yeah, we're really enjoying them. They're at age, all of them are ages that they're a lot of fun.
They're a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah. That formative age, 3 to 13 is a blast. Is your 10-year-old Van Lee Tiffin the third? Is he a kicker?
No, actually just turned 2 days ago, and he doesn't kick. He's not seemed to be interested in it. So
okay, good.
Yeah.
No more anxious games. Hey, who would be a good guest to have on the show, Van? Who should I get?
I don't know. I haven't given that any thought.
Give it a thought and send me a text, brother.
Yeah, I sure will.
Sorry you can't see me, but we can all see and hear you, man. Maybe it'll work out next time. Thanks for being on the show, buddy.
Okay, man. Thanks a lot.
Roll Tide.
See ya.
See it. Van Tiffin, All-American, great kicker. Man, what a legend. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Everybody have a great sports weekend. Stay tuned for these great messages. This is brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet. Go see them here in Pensacola, over in Milton, and up in Foley, over in Baldwin County. So thanks for watching the podcast, Coach's Corner. Make sure if you like the show, share it, and go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. So long, everybody.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray, and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
75 years of service in high tech today. It's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348. High tech is a term often applied to advanced services and products in today's marketplace. And today, glass is much more than the simple painted brittle, see-through stuff we hit baseballs through when we were kids. Glass is now a product with unique flexibility in both performance and application. And Pensacola Glass Company is growing right along. That's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.